Perfect. So looks like we are live yet again. I'm going to share my screen. Just a second. What I'm going to go over is, as you can see, ways to present your product, service, and opportunity. Okay. I'm going to share some really simple nuggets, all right, to help you have some effectiveness when you share the information with others, when you go over the wealth generators overview with other people. So there's 10 ways you can share the info. Now, there are other ways, but these are the most common that I can think of. And in this business, you need to be kind of sort of like a handyman or a handywoman, right? You need to have several tools on your belt so that way, in any given situation, you are always willing and ready to properly break down the information to your prospects. Perhaps you scheduled a webinar and maybe the webinar service is giving you issues. Whatever the case may be, sometimes issues arise, which is why you need to be ready and prepared at all times. You need to be pretty much a person, all right, ready to adapt to any kind of situation and environment they're in. Key thing over here, guys, is we're building relationships and we're building a business. So it's important to have these tools at the ready. Live events is where the magic happens, okay? At live events, all right, this is where people are really getting the energy from everyone else. This is good for reps, but more importantly, this is good for prospects because they see that it's literally a big deal. And because people make an emotional decision to get started. What is emotion? Energy, emotion. People make an emotional decision to get started. They're in that energy already that actually helps with the whole process. In addition, your prospects can see a variety of success stories, and maybe one or two success stories coming from reps will resonate with the prospect. Now, live events is pretty much in your face, an in-person presentation, whether it's a big crowd, small crowd, or even if it's just a one-on-one sit down, or even a home meeting for that matter. They are absolutely key. So you could just simply invite your prospect to a live event and they'll get all the information they need to get started. The presenter will handle the presenting for you and also the closing for you. All you have to do is just simply sign them up. It's simple. We have regional events that you can plug into that is in your region, all right? So it may not be in your particular city, however, it is in your region, so it's still reachable. Local events that happen in your town, whether it's scheduled opportunity meetings that go on, let's say on a weekly basis, perhaps 2 times a week, your goal should be having at least one home meeting every single week in your first 90 days of building the business. An in-person sit down, that could be a one-on-one, which is simply you and a prospect, okay? You share the information with them and you do it with the slideshow, all right? Or, you can do a press play. It doesn't matter. It's an in-your-face live event, right? 2-on-1 is when you tag along a mentor with you and let them do all the talking. As soon as your mentor talks, you stay absolutely quiet. Keep your 2 cents out of it, all right? Because if you add your 2 cents in the middle of a presentation, you are de-edifying your expert. You never want to do that. You never want to interrupt a presentation. You never want to interrupt a closing session. Whether it's someone's home office, whether it's a live regional event, a local event, a Super Saturday, whatever the case may be, you bring your prospects there and we'll run the information right by them. We do have live webinars. Webinars is like a seminar, but over the web. Okay, so webinars, right? It's pretty much a live meeting, all done just online. We have company-sponsored live webinars that happen, and even team members that have scheduled ongoing webinars. It's easy to host one, and it's super effective. It's just as effective as a live event, especially if you interact with the crowd. You ask them questions, you get them to use little features like raising their virtual hand, all right, with a click of a mouse. Very interactive. It's very cool, and it's a great way to get prospects in. It also has a higher closing rate as well. all you will have to do is just simply get ready to sign up your prospects. Let the presenter do the presenting and the closing for you, and you'll be good to go. In some cases, you might pretty much get onto a webinar, get your prospect onto a webinar where the presenter doesn't close, and that's fine, because that's why we have our 3-way call system. And you'll learn about that if you haven't learned about that already in our modules. The advantages, it's hard to miss, right? Sometimes when you invite people to live events, a lot of times they make up excuses. Oh, something happened, my car broke down, something went wrong, whatever the case may be. But it's hard to miss because people can literally tune into a webinar from the comfort of their own home or wherever they have reception on their phone or internet connectivity. It's a very visual experience, and human beings are very visual. Again, people would get success stories, multiple success stories usually on these webinars. It may be named as case studies or product testimonials. Again, it's very interactive and it has a higher closing rate. Video conferences is like a step down from a webinar, okay? You can tune into a video conference via Skype, Google Hangouts, Zoom, or other programs out there that allows you to have a virtual conference, a video conference. Always use a host, all right, to welcome attendees. So always follow the 5 points. You learned that in the last video. Okay, and use visual aids as you present. So if you can screen share, you can share your screen and go over a slideshow, or you could just bring out a whiteboard and just give them some type of visual aids as you're going over the information. It's key that you provide visuals when it comes to presenting live, period, because a video conference is also considered like a live event. All right, a webinar is considered a live event as well. A webinar is a step down from an actual, in-person large conference meeting, okay? And a video conference is a step down from a webinar, okay? The cool thing about video conferences is that it's almost as effective as live webinars, and the services are usually free. Another way to share the business is to actually send a link to a website or to a video, whether it's a Vimeo video or a YouTube video, send them to a website or to a video. It's really a very simple way to share the business. Now, it's important, guys, that you continue to follow the 5 steps. I mean, everything that you're learning over here, it's in hopes that you're actually following the 5-point method, right? After properly clearing your prospect's time using the invite tactic you learned in the last modules or videos, call or text your prospect at that time to confirm one last time to make sure, all right, they're ready to see the information at the appointed time, all right? Once they give you the confirmation, you send the link, all right? So listen, if I already booked an appointment with you and I already cleared, let's say 8 o'clock, for example, with you, I'm going to call you at 8 o'clock and say, okay, you clear the time with me. I just want to verify one last time if you're ready to see the information. If the person says yes, whether it's a live phone call or I just text them just to confirm, if they say, yes, I'm ready, okay, then perfect. I send them the link. The reason why you don't want to send the link beforehand is because sometimes they're going to skip through it. They're going to try to say things like, oh, they caught a little bit of it, they caught the gist of it or whatever, and they start asking questions that were already answered in the video. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you absolutely have their undivided time and attention with no distractions, all right? Having these last minute confirmations, it actually helps out. You can use wealthsecrets.biz to get them to watch the automated presentation that I've developed for you guys, or you could just send them to another website with videos or a simple YouTube link that shows them the presentation. So like I said, you got to kind of be a handyman. You got to know what time you're working with. You got to have a list of presentations that you think work well with certain types of prospects, especially if you know about the different personality types. That actually helps out really well. And of course, whatever you can squeeze in with your prospect to share the information, you want to respect their time. What I find is that the higher quality of the presentation, the higher closing ratio. When you're dealing with high quality people, when you raise the bar high, you lose the losers. When you have the bar set too low, you lose the winners. This is what I've learned from my mentors, okay? So it is the simplest way to share, and you just let the video do all the talking. And at the end, obviously, it's a setup for a three-way call or a setup for a close, okay? Press and play is another simple way to share the information. All right. You can literally meet up with your prospect and just go right on, you could go to a prospect, use your laptop, use your tablet, use whatever you got, even a DVD, and just simply press play on the video and just let the video do the talking. It's important that before you press play on a video, you tell your prospect to save your questions for the end and you watch the video with them. So you want to watch the video, okay, and be attentive to that video and let your prospect know that you respect the information that you share with them. Let's say, for example, it's an emergency situation and you are not able to provide a slideshow presentation. Maybe something happened with the slides or whatever the case may be. You can always use a press play presentation. You can always use the press play tactic and just simply press play on them. Just remember to follow the 5 points. So make sure you have the intro. Let's say if you don't have anyone to edify you, that's fine. You edify the speaker on the video. Okay, you edify the speaker on the video. And here's a little hack. All right. If you are partnered with a person that has a press play video out there, all right, you want to make sure you use them for a three-way call. All right. Edify them. Let the video do the talking and actually use them for a three-way call because it just makes the experience for the prospect that more, even more powerful. Teleconference, no internet, no problem. We have scheduled teleconference calls to go over the opportunity. Yes, we definitely do have that. You can even, all right, send your prospect to my number. All right, I have a recorded phone call going over the information, and they could just simply dial 641-715-3900. The PIN is 530244, and most likely you're gonna have to press pound after you enter the PIN. And it's a simple strategy, okay? So again, after you book the appointment with someone at that time, you confirm once again, all right, if they can hear the information. And what you can do, you can simply have them hold on the line, dial in yourself, and just connect the call and tell them to save their questions for the end. Have yourself on mute and have it on speakerphone. And when, at that time, you should already be texting, okay, your mentor or whoever, to see if they're ready to handle a three-way call, all right? Very simple, guys. It's just a very simple way. Telemarketers do this all the time. They'll call you and they say, hey, do you have a few minutes to listen to a recording that could potentially change your life or whatever the case may be? And then they forward you into a recorded voicemail and then they swap the call right back to just themselves. It's very simple. It's a very simple tactic. It's effective as well. You can let the audio do all the talking for you. Product demonstration, okay? This provides a live experience as to how it all works, all right? People can literally learn, all right, with their eyes and with their hands. Sometimes people are better hands-on learners and very visual. So to actually provide a demonstration as to how to plug in a trade using the demo account, of course, if you're gonna have them do it, this is really cool. And when you show them the power of the wealth generators app, so on and so forth, it gives them a temporary sense of ownership. Now, this is awesome because this is a tactic that a lot of car dealers use. Even real estate owners, they have you walk through the home and you could just pretty much, have your tour. And when you step inside, it gives people the sense of what it would be like if they did own the place. All right. So it's a very effective tactic. And it's very simple. You just simply share how it all works and there's no questions. What this does, what product demonstrations offer is that it provides proof that it works. All right. It's great for those who are more visual and hands-on, and it eliminates most objections. See, sometimes when prospects, see the information, they see that it's actually a lot more simpler than they initially thought. A flipbook presentation. It's pretty much the slideshow in PDF format. So you can actually print out, all right, the slideshow in PDF format. You could shorten it up a little bit, okay? You could bind it together. You go to a store like Staples, Office Max, or whatever. Maybe you have your own binder machine at your home office, all right? And you just pretty much put a flip book together and make it look professional. And when you meet up with a prospect, okay, if it's a 2-on-1, 1-on-1, or even if it's a private meeting at a conference room, and let's say it's just a table, there's no TV, no one has laptops or whatever, it's fine because you could give everyone a handout of the flip book, okay, and just go over the information with them and have them follow along. If it's a 2-on-1 or a 1-on-1 meeting, make sure they use a pen, okay, not to actually write, okay, but just use a pen as a pointer. This is one of the books that I'm reading currently right now. So whenever you're going over the information, of course, you're going to actually have it sit down in front of them. All right. You're going to pretty much point to stuff that you're talking about. Okay. So let's say, all right. So in this fine portion, Ross Jardine, who's considered America's #1 money mentor, is actually going to walk you through the entire process. And you actually use your pen to pretty much help them follow along, okay? It's a way of you taking control of the conversation. The one who is in control of the conversation, okay, is obviously the more dominant one, the winner, pretty much. This is a great method. It shows that you absolutely know what you're talking about, even though you're just literally pointing at pictures and just pretty much giving them the gist of what they're looking at. I would say the best way to learn the presentation is to first be a product of the product, because you don't have to be an expert speaker, all right, to do a flipbook presentation, do a live event where you're using a slideshow or a webinar or a video conference, okay, is literally as simple as use the products, know about it, okay, and whenever a picture pops up talking about a specific product or a portion of our program like Find, Grow, or Keep, okay, then you just know off the top of your head how it works. And you're giving them how it worked for you from your perspective. Remember, facts tell, stories sell. So when we go over the information, we don't want to just read to them, you know, what they're looking at. We don't want to do that. We actually want to just show them what it is and how it worked for us. So it's important that you develop a product testimonial, and you'll learn in the next module or so, maybe you learned how to develop a 30 to 60-second testimonial for yourself. So it's all within following the system. And what's crazy about this is that all these skills that you're learning, and I know I'm kind of going off over here, all the skills that you're learning is pretty much the only skills that you need for the rest of your life. All right. So once you learn this stuff, it's game over. You already got everything down packed. You can build $1 million business right now, you know? All right, and then we have our one-pager overview. This is pretty much a much more simpler way than the flipbook to share the information. It is not as detailed, obviously, because the flipbook is a replica of the presentation in the PDF printed out format. The one-pager is very simple. You can actually see the document right over here, okay? It's just one simple page, It has 8 points to go over. This is a very simple tool. The one-pager was created by the company, but what I did was I edited my one-pager to where you can actually listen to my phone call, and the recorded phone call that, you know, I told you about in the teleconference part of this training, okay, is actually the very same phone call going over the information using the one-pager. So I go through all 8 points. The reality is I recorded that going over the one-pager, all right? So it's very cool. Anyone could plug into it, all right? Very simple to follow. So if you're in person, just hand them the document, dial the number, have it on speakerphone, tell them to save their questions to the end. It's kind of like a press play. Without needing a DVD or internet connectivity to share the information with them. You can just simply dial in. Anyone could do this, right? So even if you have the call playing on speakerphone, you can still use your handy dandy pen. You keep your pen pointed at the section that I'm talking about, all right? And this kind of helps guide them, all right? It shows that you're guiding them. And again, tell them to save their questions for the end, all right? This also serves great as a handout tool. After you did a live event or whatever the case may be, a webinar, whatever the case may be, okay, you can give this to the prospect All right. Let's say they are in the fence. They're thinking about it. You give this to a prospect to give them a recap. All right. To give them a recap of the information that was broken down to them. They can always dial that number to get a refresher as to what our program is all about. This right here is the napkin presentation tactic. And pretty much what you want to do in a napkin presentation is have a pen, okay? And you can have a piece of paper, or you can have a whiteboard, you can have anything. As long as you have something to write with and something to write on, you could do a napkin style presentation. I closed out a whole college room using this tactic to present the business. What I like to do with the napkin presentation is combine it with the 45-second presentation, but pretty much what I like to do is show this. Now, if we were working on a humongous project, and this project was extremely powerful, and it's a way for us to really develop well for ourselves, would it be hard for you to include 2 people into the idea? No, right? So what if that continued to happen? By the 5th generation, all right, if that continued to duplicate, by the 5th generation, we'll have 64 members included in our project, in our campaign, in our program. Now, if it's not hard to get 2 people involved, what about 3? Would that be tough? 3? No, right? As you can see, if that continues to duplicate, by the 5th generation, that's 729. 4, same thing. That duplicates for 5 generations, over 4,000 people. 5, I like this number. This is an easier number for me to measure with, right? If we included 5 people into our powerful project, and that continued to duplicate, 5 refer 5, and that continued to duplicate, by the 5th generation, we'll have over 15,000. That would be pretty exciting, right? You see, the difference is just a few more. So for example, the difference between 2 and 3 is 1 more. The difference between 3 and 4 is 1 more. The difference between 4 and 5 is 1 more. The difference between 2 and 5 is 3 more. It's a little bit more factor. You do things slightly more than the average Joe, in the long run, you'll be quantum leaps ahead of everyone else. But what if I told you that 15,000 people could make you a 7-figure a year income? Would you want me to tell you more about it or keep it a secret? Okay, great. You want me to tell you more about it? Perfect. It would be pretty exciting, especially if you knew that 15,000 people could make you a 7-figure a year income. That would be pretty exciting as a global legend in our company. Now, if it took you 10 years before you got to this level, would it be worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure you want to know more about this program, right? It starts with 5, and if that duplicates, this is a possibility, okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to do more than just 5, because not everyone is hungry. We're going to find 5 people that are as ambitious as us, directly or indirectly, as we're launching this campaign. It's absolutely powerful. Our project is Wealth Generators. And what we do for people is help them find, grow, keep. And what you do, guys, is you pretty much draw a chart, find, grow, keep, and what each, all right, of those core concepts offer, the products or services, all right, and each of those 3 and what you're going to do is pretty much draw a chart, find, grow, keep, okay? And in that chart, you're going to include the products and services that Wealth Generators offers to help people better their financial situation, all right? It's important that you don't lead with just Forex, or you don't lead with just equities. We're a financial fitness company. So you really want to talk about what we're doing compared to what the banks are doing for other people. It's the easiest way to remember duplication, the easiest way, right? Help 5 get 5, 25, that continues to duplicate, all right? For 5 generations, that's 15,000 people, right? It's the easiest way to remember duplication. There was times where I used a napkin presentation in a loud restaurant and in a loud bar. All you need is a pen and a paper, a pen or napkin, literally. As long as you have a writing instrument, and something to write on, you'll be good to go. So there you have it, guys. I showed you a few ways, all right, to effectively share the information. I do want to be very clear. In every presentation, we have 3 goals. That's to inform, entertain, and inspire. Inform, entertain, and inspire. Inform the people what we're doing. Remember the rules. The invitation is not the explanation. The rule is don't show anything until you can show everything if you're conducting a presentation yourself. If not, let the tools, let the leaders do the talking for you at live events or webinars or press play, whatever the case may be, all right? The goal is to inform the prospect what we have going on, entertain them, because no one wants to be bored, right? It's good when you entertain people. Remember, this isn't another job, all right? This is a mission, and we have a lot of fun in this mission as we revolutionize this world in a very positive way and inspire. The success stories or case studies or product testimonials is enough to inspire people, especially when you talk about your vision, all right, your why, and your story. I hope this information was easy enough for you to understand. I'll see you on the next video.